The first one is having a strong core, and ideally a core that's in the cloud, where you then have the possibility to use like best-class standard business process software, combined with a technology foundation that can help you to access, combine, and also embed any kind of technology in these different processes. But then the third part is, how do you do this transformation, right? And that's where we give like different methods, guidances, practices, and best tools. So when it comes to the SAP Business Technology Platform, we see a lot of different ways how we can help you drive better business outcomes and help you on your innovation journey. And this is now a very simplified image, but it gives you an idea of what are the most common steps that our customers go through. The first one is that you prepare for the cloud. So for the modern cloud architecture, we will hear a lot about how you can take this first step for going on this transition if you haven't done so. Then the second step is a strong data foundation. I've seen a lot of questions also, how do you start doing this? How do you prepare your data? How do you cleanse your data? And so on and so on. And then also how to innovate faster. And last but not least, how to reimagine the possibilities, ideally with artificial intelligence. So now let's look at these 4 steps in a bit more detail. And let's start with the first one, preparing for the cloud future. Well, we might know that maybe not everything will move to the cloud, and that it probably is a long transition to do this move. But I think it's clear that the paradigm has shifted, and the cloud is the future, because all these new innovations will be happening in the cloud. And of course, you will be still be able to have maybe some of your systems due to regulations or due to kind of like compliance or reasons, maybe still in the on-premise part, but still there will be some connections then to the cloud, because that is the heart of where the future is going to. But the question is, how do you prepare for this? And that is where it's our job at SAP to help you prepare your right cloud strategy. So we have 2 different key programs. One you probably have heard of as RISE with SAP, which is a carefully curated bundle of products and services to take your existing systems and custom code and move them to the cloud with S4. And the other key program is GROW with SAP, that is a greenfield implementation for more like mid-market customers to focus on SAP S/4HANA public cloud. So in both of these parts, the BTP plays a central role. So the solutions help you to, for example, do the migration, the integration, your data cleansing, your master data testing, and of course also for fulfilling the clean core methodology. And I'm very happy to have Frederick here in the front row with us, because he's one of our customers who will exactly talk about how they have achieved the clean core with SAP RISE and BTP later on today. So stay tuned for this. The second point looks a bit like this, because you might need to create like a strong data foundation. And this data foundation is one thing that if I asked customers that I work with, what is this one thing that you would have done differently for if you look at your innovation journey? And it's most often the same answer. It is cleansing your data and also better integrating your data. And I think I want to do a quick interesting gouging of the hand. So who thinks they have maybe a really strong data quality in their organization? Maybe put your hand up. Ooh, I think it speaks for itself that nobody puts the hand up right now, so I think maybe, I see somebody putting their hand up. No, okay. So again, I think it speaks for itself that preparing your data is a really big step forward, and that's also where the data innovation starts. So most organizations need to take a little step back to understand this data part and how to get it, in that sense, right, to then go forward and do all of the different innovation topics that are able. And good news is, of course, also AI is exactly built on these kind of AI data foundations. And I just want to quickly introduce you to Brightspeed. So Brightspeed is a US-based company that is one of the recent winners of the SAP Innovation Awards. And if you have not checked out these Innovation Awards, I highly recommend it. They're super cool stories of what have customers done and how they have improved their business. So definitely worth checking out. So Brightspeed is a relatively new internet provider that were created in 2021. And they had this challenge that they wanted to harmonize all their data. So they had billing data in S/4HANA, they had billing data in revenue and innovation management, and they also had data in Google BigQuery. So a lot of data flying around. And they tried to harmonize all this data to gain real-time analytics. So before harmonizing the data, it was very tedious, very manual, doing a lot of custom queries and so on and so on. But after doing this, they had stellar results in achieving this. So first of all, they were able to have 2,000 hours of monitoring and development saved each year. They had 3 times optimization of data load and replication for real-time analytics, and 76% increase in accuracy around revenue recognition and payment dispute. Well, this exact technology, what's behind it, we will hear later about it, but just again, the data is one of the key parts when it comes to also this transition and moving to the cloud and where we are able to help you. The third point was innovating faster. And it's interesting with this part is because what's holding us back is not really the technology in this area, because there's already a lot of technology out there that can be able to help you faster, but it's often the problem that organizations are lacking the time and the resources to use these kind of technology, which leads to a lot of IT backlog and also dissatisfied business people because they want to have ideally this idea that they had implemented within the next days. So here I want to introduce you to PIFPUF Alimentos. So they are like a Brazilian food company, and you can see some of the products here. And what they had was their maintenance technicians needed to always conduct their machine operations and checking these machines, and they did this in a very manual way. So they went around, had a piece of paper, and took some notes about this. And then they took this paper and went to the system and put in the system information, and they needed to do it actually in multiple different systems. So instead of doing it in this manual way, they started to develop an application that you can see here on top. And this application was developed with low-code, no-code technology. And this application is seamlessly integrated in the ERP, but it is a side-by-side extension. So it's not directly built into the core of the applications. It is an application that sits on the SAP Business Technology Platform. And so they had on this mobile app all the different ERP lists of their service orders, and that allowed the technician directly on the shop floor to put in the data. And I'm not sure if you're often on the shop floor, but what happens there is that you don't have internet all the time. So also, this application was, in that sense, be able to, you could use it even though you don't have internet, and then later it was synced in the system. So I think the stunning part of this one is that this application was live within just 3 weeks. And I think that again speaks for itself about this power of low-code, no-code, by, for example, giving the business users to develop, okay, where should maybe the button go, where should something like this go, how should it connect, and then the IT side helping with the backend part. They also had a 30% reduction in time and cost of any kind of technician data entry, and they of course also reduced the paper waste in these kind of areas. So again, a great example for side-by-side extensibility and low-code, no-code parts. And then the last part was reimagine the possibilities. And here I want to put a mental picture in it, because it feels like right now, business innovation is like a staircase where you need to take a lot of steps to go up, and it feels always more like a step to do. But ideally, as we're looking into the future, it will become more like an escalator, like a smooth ride where your system will be able to learn from the different inputs that you will be doing. So it's more like a smooth ride in an automated fashion and in a more AI-powered way. So with that, I just want to quickly wrap it up, because you have seen probably that picture a lot of times, but we have our core in the middle with the different parts around it, ideally in the cloud core, and underpinned by that is the Business Technology Platform. And the Business Technology Platform encompasses 5 main key areas. It's the application development, it's the automation, it's integration, data analytics, and AI. So these are the different technologies. But the B in the Business Technology Platform stands for business centricity. And how we're achieving this is by bringing all the different data points that you have in your cloud core technologies in this technology platform, but it doesn't need to be only SAP products, it can also be other products. So that's how we also gain again the business centricity, by keeping the semantics in place, by also providing access and governance controls, and already building a lot of pre-built content so you don't need to start from zero, and having the self-serve mentality in mind for IT, but also business users. So I hope I gave you a quick overview of how you are able to prepare for the cloud, build a strong data foundation, innovate faster, and then also reimagine the possibilities. And I want to close with this lovely image. SAP has helped to like write the new technology way for our customers over 50